Well, it's that stage in the Derby where things start to get painful for those that make their exit. 24 became 12 in tonight's quarterfinals. Let's look at the first heat.
So the opening quarter-final of the BoyleSports Derby, 1 Clonagh Kid, 2 Drive On Tip, and 3 Pension Plan, 4 is Haybound, in 5 Sonic, and 6 JT Barracuda. The hare coming up behind traps. And racing, good start by 5 Sonic, 4 cuts inwards, Haybound. It's 5 Sonic on the outside. Can he clear the corner? 5 Sonic takes a bump but goes round in front. His kennel companion, Clonagh Kid, in second. Then comes 4 Haybound and 6 JT Barracuda. But it is 5 Sonic clear to the third bend. From in second, 4 Haybound, 6 JT Barracuda third, making a move. But 5 Sonic is home and hosed. He's going to be into the Derby semi-finals. Second is 4 Haybound, 6 JT Barracuda running on strongly, but 6 Sonic, or 5 Sonic should I say, too good for them. JT Barracuda came through for second, and back in third was 4 Haybound. The winning time 29.61. A brilliant run by Sonic.
As always, joined here by Kevin Hennessy of BoyleSports, looking back at the heats from tonight. Tremendous displays throughout, but we kick off in the open heat in Sonic. We knew he had another break in him. He made it tonight. He was lucky he did. He just cleared the corner for Haybound. Was forced off the corner, gave him a right wallop, but Sonic emerged from it, and once he did, it was fairly plain sailing thereafter. He ended up winning 8.5 lengths, and a relatively straightforward task after that opening bump.
Yeah, there was. Look, it was a bit messy in behind throughout the race. A bit of bumping at the first corner, and Sonic just was gone at that stage. When he gets around and when he's unleashed, we saw what he did in the opening round, 29-12. He's got that ability. When he leads, he's near unbeatable, really, to be honest. I don't see much in this Derby coming from off the pace behind him, no matter how far he's in front off the second bend. If he's in front, I think he wins. Yeah, look, he's been very, very impressive from the get-go in this competition, and it's going to take a really, really good one to beat him. He's just doing everything right. He's really driving that corner much better than we saw last year, and I know Connections would have been disappointed not to have brought home the prize last year, but doing a live chance of bringing it home this year.
Indeed. It was a strange race. As you say, there was traffic problems in the corner. Pension Plan was suspended, but they were strung out. Like, it must have been 35, 40 lengths between first and last in this race. And I didn't think the traffic was that bad, but yet they were just so strung out. It was a strange race. JT Barracuda came racing through for second spot for your father, and back in third we saw 4 Haybound, one of the lightly raced greyhounds in the Derby, and a real sort of fairy tale, for his connections.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it got very messy as soon as the bumping went on at the opening bend. It was messy from there on, and Sonic was just gone. And Barracuda ran on well to pick up to finish second, and then, like you said, Haybound only having its 10th race tonight. Been in the frame now nearly in every one of his starts, only out of the first 3 once. Peter Cronin's getting a real good tune out of this dog, and who knows, he was a big price tonight. He's going to be a massive price again in the semi-finals, but we said that last week. We said he'd be a big price tonight. He was a big price tonight, 20-1 in places tonight, but he still got his way through into the quarter-final, so who knows, he might make it through into the last 6, yeah.
Indeed. On now to the second heat of the BoyleSports Derby.
And so the hare in motion for the second quarter-final, the BoyleSports Derby. 1 Cenarian Farren, 2 Drumsna Star, 3 Swithin's Bray, 4 BALLYMAC SARAHJO, 5 Native Chimes, and 6 the favourite Kilgraney Ace, and Kilgraney Ace off to a moderate start. 4 BALLYMAC SARAHJO took a flyer, but here comes Native Chimes, takes the corner and goes on by 3 lengths to win second. 6 Kilgraney Ace, 2 powerful trackers, first and second, but Native Chimes has put this one to bed. He goes on by 5, 6 lengths. 6 Kilgraney Ace in second, 2 Drumsna Star in third at a massive price, but out front and Native Chimes are going to be a brilliant winner here for Johnny O'Sullivan, John Kelleher and Pat Norton. Second is 6 Kilgraney Ace, Drumsna Star was third. The winning time 29.44. Brilliant run by Native Chimes.
And so Native Chimes taking home the bacon in the second quarter-final. That was mighty impressive. He was the fastest winner of the round. But this dog, he's pretty special. Like, from 15-20 yards into the race until the last 15-20 yards, he's sensational. Like, this dog has such pace. He really blew holes in Kilgraney Ace down the back straight. That was a very, very pleasing on the eye. Yeah,
we know how much power he has. The part that I was most impressed was from the line to the bend. He just 20 yards from the line, he just drove. He just seemed to find another gear on the field, and from what looked on paper as a horrible draw out in 5, being an inside seed, he just took command 20 yards from the corner and just drove the bend. It was all over when he straightened up. Kilgraney Ace was as strong and all as he is. Native Chimes is stays 550 all day long. He'd stay further if you wanted him to do it. He's just running so well at the moment. They're getting such a tune out of this dog, and all of his followers are here. He gets one of the biggest cheers every night when he hits the front up here at the moment. And for me, he's the dog that's coming forward the most in the competition. He's the dog that's improving every round. He was in 6 last week. We didn't give him much of a chance. He dominated. He was in 5 tonight. Another tricky draw. He dominated. He's going to get a more inside draw now throughout the competition because there isn't that many inside seats left in the Derby. So for me, the most impressive tonight, and definitely the biggest market mover for me. I think he potentially could be the one that they'll all have to beat.
It was good for him in terms of BALLYMAC SARAHJO was in 4. She did edge in fairly notably in the first few yards, but as you say, once he had the room to race, he really went into gear. Kilgraney Ace ran well in second spot. He's a better dog when he's out in front because he doesn't tend to run as wide. When there's dogs in his inside, he does run that a little bit wider, and as a result of running so wide tonight, the other dog did get away in him. Back in third, Drums to Star, should I say. This fellow, he's 33-1 tonight, and he's still in the Derby for Pauline Quinn. Another fairy tale, potential fairy tale runner. Obviously, looking at next week's heats, he'll be, I would dare say, nearly treble fingers. I'd say he could nearly be 100-1 in the third, in the second of the semi-finals, but he's still there.
Yeah, and they won't care. The dog doesn't know what price he is, and he's running fierce well. He was 50-1 up here last week. So he's probably going to be around that price, but it didn't matter to him last week being 50s. It didn't matter tonight to him being 33-1. These dogs, when they're running in good form, they just find a way. And there's them lucky stories that you hear about all the time, and that's what everyone gets involved in greyhounds for. It's not always just the big guns that go through. But look, for me, yeah, you're right about Kilgraney Ace. Missed it tonight. He pinged it last week. We said on this that don't expect that start from him every week. He's not that type of a dog. But look, he's in the semi-final of a Derby. He's very, very strong. We know he can start much better. He will stay wide. He'll stay out of trouble. But Thomas Buggy's getting a great tune out of this dog, and we know how fast he is. And look, the 3 of them will all fancy their chances. Well, Drums to Star will be a big price, but that won't put them off in the semi-finals. Yeah, the one thing I've always said about Native Chimes, Pat Norton, his owner, quite excited there tonight, but I always told him this dog wants racing. He revels in racing, and as you can see, he's bouncing in himself. And I believe the trainer Johnny O'Sullivan was telling Pat that on Thursday the dog came out of the kennel, he was absolutely raring to go. He wished the Derby qualifiers had been that night. As it was, Saturday night didn't harm him. No, it definitely didn't. And look, if he keeps going to the corner the way he's going, I know his section's only 3:45, but it's not telling the true story, because from the line to the bend, he's flying. He really is. And when he straightens up down the back, you won't pass him. You just won't pass him. On so to Heat 3 of the quarterfinals of the BoyleSports Derby, and this was a muddling affair, but in the end a good winner.
In 1 we've Mildeen Skip, 2 Black Farren, 3 Burnt Beans, 4 is DROOPYS CABAYE, 5 Tara Harold, and 6 is JT Jet. Now up behind traps, and away they go. 5 is away fast. That's Tara Harold, moves across and cuts across, but 1 is on his inside into the bend. Mildeen Skip, and Mildeen Skip leads Tara Harold on the second bend. 2 Black Farren at close third as the race down the back, and it's 1 the leader, Mildeen Skip. Now 2 Black Farren is second, and 5 is trying to get back in between them. That's Tara Harold at the third bend for 2 Black Farren. 5 is cut off again there, Tara Harold, but he's still second, turning for home. And off the final bend, it's number 2, Black Farren out front, and Black Farren goes on to win it from 5 in second, Tara Harold. Could it be JT Jet? He's got through again. He might have got third. It's a photo finish. So Heat 3 of the BoyleSports Derby going to Black Farren, beating Tara Harold and JT Jet in that final stride. But Black Farren ran well to win it. Your heart would have to go out to the connections of Mildeen Skip racing in Trop 1. You know, he was qualifying for 549.5 yards. In fact, he nearly looked like going close to winning the competition or contest going into the back straight, but Black Farren just had enough pace to get to the front down at the third bend, and once doing so, he's a stronger in greyhound. He was going to be hard to beat. Tara Harold cut in notably from trap 5. I suppose that sort of set the tone for the race. It was a strange sort of affair. There was very few dogs that had a clear enough run. Mildeen Skip and of course Black Farren were probably the 2 exceptions. Yeah, look, it was that sort of a race. Mildeen Skip was so unlucky tonight. You'd have to say that. Literally the last stride just getting put out, but it looked going down the back straight, he was nailed on to qualify. Black Farren tucked in behind and got through there, as you said, at the third bend. Harold diving inwards, Jet missing the break in 6. So it was a sort of a messy enough affair. Mildeen Skip and Jet coming together up the home straight as well, and it was just a head bobber. It could have went either way. It was a toss of coin, nobody knew. But Black Farren, a really, really strong dog, and one from the Graham Holland camp that has just continued to go under the radar. We've talked about Sonic, we've talked about Clares Rocket, we talked about all the bigger guns, but he seems to be just doing the same run the whole time. He's clocking
very, very good, solid times. He was beaten by Kilgrenny Ace a couple of weeks ago when Ace bombed out and done everything right. But Black Farren, for me, very, very strong and just tipping away very, very well indeed. He's won over a third of his races, so definitely one of the Graham Holland underdogs that's performing very, very well.
Yeah, he's a good trapper, but he doesn't really race hard to the corner or fly down the back. He just keep going. He's a real sort of grinder. That's the way I describe him. Tara Harold, he will definitely be better off with all the wide seas remaining, because he's not going to get that wide draw again. And you'd imagine if he got traps 3 or 4, he'll go up a lot straighter than he did tonight.
Yeah, you'd fancy that. He's done it out of 4 and 3 in his last 2 weeks. He's been very impressive. Did move in slightly, and DROOPYS CABAYE, a big enough dog on the inside as well. So it was going to be hard to push him out of your way. Unfortunately for Connections of Burt Beans, they got a lot of trouble, and they struggled with CABAYE as well. But look, you've got Black Farren, Tyre Harlan, JT Jet all going through over there, and I'm just glad Ted was able to sneak through again.
Yeah, JT Jet, I go back to his English Derby victory. Do you remember the night? He got up for third, the dead heat. It was something similar tonight. He looked dead and buried, got in. You never know. Yeah,
well, look, he's ran 39 races in this country. He's been in the top 3 36 times. This is his 3rd Derby semi-final. Like, you just run out of words to say from him. I'm obviously going to be biased, of course, but it didn't look likely, and especially when they bumped with Mildy and Skip up the home straight. But look, he's going to have to start trapping. There's no two ways about it. We're up here saying how well he's running from halfway, but you're in a Derby semi-final. If he doesn't buck up in the early stages, he won't be in the final.
You wouldn't mind being beaten 20 lengths into 3rd next week?
That, yeah, no problem, no problem.
On to the last of the 4 quarterfinals. A bit of an upset here, although not that big of an upset.
In 1 is Hovek Smith, 2 Good News, 3 is Skywalker Manor, 4 BUCKOS Dream, 5 Typical Ash, and 6 the favourite, Clares Rocket. Here coming up behind Chaps, and away they go. The Rocket is away well, not clear though. He's on the outside going to the corner with 4 on his inside, BUCKOS Dream and 2 Good News around the bend, and Clares Rocket took a bump there and he's back in 3rd place as BUCKOS Dream leads down the back from Good News. But here comes Clares Rocket, flies through into 2nd, moves up to challenge BUCKOS Dream into the 3rd bend. He checks at that point. BUCKOS Dream kicks on again from 6th, Clares Rocket in 2nd, and then Good News in 3rd. Off the final bend, BUCKOS Dream drifts wide. Here comes the Rocket being chased by 2, and 2 Good News gets up, I think, to do him on the line. It looks like 2 and 6, a photo of a 3rd. The time 29:59. Could be Good News, folks.
Well, you heard it here last week. Kevin Hennessy said that the pack were sort of closing the gap on Clares Rocket. Tonight he was beaten, although ran well in defeat. But the key is he was led tonight. The BUCKOS Dream dog, obviously we knew he had the massive early speed, but Good News, he really found his form tonight. What was so taking about Good News was how he finished. He finished like a train. By the escape, he was 6-7 lengths clear. He seems to be a dog that's really come into hand.
A dog I've always been a massive admirer of. There was much debate going on in the stand last week. I know he let down nearly every punter for an accumulator last week at a short enough price. He's a dog I've always held in the highest regard. I think ever since you go back to when he was in the sales, and he always came in with that big massive reputation, and people, when you have a dog like that, people often look to find flaws. It's just natural when a dog is that good. You always look to find that, and he has been a little bit inconsistent in periods, but I've always been a huge fan of him. Yeah, Clares Rocket was beaten tonight. BUCKOS Dream led. Clares Rocket, supporters, heart would have been in their mouth at the first bend. Like, he could have very well took a bad bump there. He rode the bump there, he took it on. The pace he showed from 2 to 3 was awesome. Like BUCKOS Dream and the likes of Good News, they're no slouches, and he was making hand over fist ground on them. To me, looked a little bit tired in the last 20 yards. I'm not saying he's tired overall in the competition. He has done a lot of running in the last 3 months, but the running he had to do, taking the bump to get up the inside at the 3rd bend or to pass at the 3rd bend, I think he just got tired in the last 10 to 15 strides. Good News was staying on stoutly, there's no denying that, but would you say Good News, when he's in behind, is going to come from behind a load of dogs? It wouldn't be for me. I think Good News is more of a dog that you like to see off the front. So I think Clares, after the bump and the way the race panned out, I think he just got tired more so than Good News was taking off, and that showed into the escape as well, how far Good News was in front as well. But look, the way Clares Rocket went from 2 to 3, I wouldn't have that many concerns. He does need to start a bit quicker, but he can. He's done it here 3 weeks in a row. He wasn't as fluent from the boxes tonight, but after 4 rounds, it's very hard to keep doing 3:30 sections up there. So yeah, look, he'll still be favoured in the morning, I would imagine. Of course, it was a good result for us for the book, but yeah, we said last week the pack were closing, but still he's the one to beat.
Connections of Clares Rocket would be delighted they've avoided BUCKOS Dream in the semi-finals.
Yeah, because he's got that early pace, you'd imagine. So they're in with Sonic on his inside. That may and may not, because Sonic has been going to the bend a lot better, and he tends to step a little bit right. So it'll be interesting to see. There's 2 further wide seats on his outside, but look, there's cause for people to be taking him. I'm sure the pack will be split. You're going to have people now looking to take him on and looking really to go at a Clares Rocket. That's just the nature of the game we're in and the industry that we're in. But like at the same time, if you were to ask anyone to stand him with a gun to their head, I'm sure a lot of them would still pick Clares Rocket as the likely winner. But definitely good news. A dog I'm a massive fan of. BUCKOS Dream, I said about 2 weeks ago on these, when he disappointed me, that I don't think he can win the Derby because I don't think he's staying great. But it showed tonight, if he can go, he is the fastest probably to the corner that's left. If he does go around, and we saw in a number of races tonight bumping, who knows, he might be able to hang on. Yeah,
good news, Clares Rocket and BUCKOS Dream. I would hesitate. I dare say I think these 3 dogs will be in the final. Good news is in 1 in the semi-final, and Clares Rocket, he is in 4. If he avoids Sonic at Trap Rise, if he does his 3:32 or 3:33 perhaps, he'd probably go around in front, and that'll be good enough. Good news, well drawn in drop 1. And then BUCKOS Dream looks a certain leader in the other heat. I'm sure he'll probably be picked up, but again, that's going to be the key perhaps in 2 weeks' time when if he's in the Derby final. Yeah,
look, the way the draw has worked out, it looks as though Good News and Clares will take 2 of the qualifying positions in the second semi. It's the tougher of the 2 in my opinion. I do fancy Good News on the draw. I think if Clares does ping it and lead up Sonic, I think if Clares goes around in front of Good News, I'd say he might just stay there. I think he just got tired after all the bumping and stuff tonight, and it could be 1-1 going into the final, and then we'll have the decider between the 2 of them. So look, and like you said, BUCKOS in the second semi-final, which for me is the slightly easier one. I think he will go around in front. I think he will probably qualify as well. So I think all connections will be happy as long as the dogs come off safe and sound and everything checks out in the morning. The 3 of these could well line up in the final.
The 3 best dogs get through from each heat. We're set for a cracking final, I think.
We're set for a cracking final anyway. I think regardless of whatever this final 6, there's plenty good dogs in there. And the way the draw has worked out with 5 insides, a middle and 6 wides, who knows if a couple of the wides go through, then you're talking 4 or 5 wides, the draw could be vital. So I'd like to have an inside seed. I'd like to be Good News at the moment, because I think from the draw in the second semi, I can see him going through, and with the remaining inside seeds that are left, you know there's going to be 3 or 4 of the wides more than likely going to go through. So he could have, and from 1, we said it at the start of this, from 1 Good News is a different dog, and you got to factor that in as well. So he'd probably be a decent price still, and I think he could be worth a few quid.
You heard that? Kevin fancies Good News. It's still wide open. Clares Rocket is obviously going to be starting favourite next week, but who knows what can happen. This is Greyhound racing, and anything can indeed happen. But again, 12 will become 6 next Saturday night. Join us for more brilliant action in the BoyleSports Irish Greyhound Derby for 2017.